Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim wa assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome to Muslim Chronicle. I am your host Ashraf Zaghloul, and today inshallah we'll talk about a topic that's very close to my heart, and I feel it has the solution of any problem somebody might have. And as we'll discuss, we'll realize how important this topic is, and the topic is what we call in Arabic istighfar, which is asking for forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that whatever anything bad happens to us is an effect of something we have done. So when we ask for Allah to forgive us, it wipes out these bad things, and we will lead a good life inshallah in this dunya and in life hereafter. To start the show, I would like to introduce my guest today, Mr. Mohammed Jeghbir, known as Abu Yusuf. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
You know, we discussed istighfar before, and that's why I thought we should talk about it on the show. Tell me your experience with istighfar.
Jazakallah khair. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulihi Muhammad al-Amin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Al-istighfar, or the asking for forgiveness, is one critical solution for all the problems that Muslims have and will have all through their lives.
No, Muslims and non-Muslims, because asking Allah to forgive, it's a general thing. Everybody should ask Allah for forgiveness.
That's true.
And
That's
you
true.
know, I can't stress people more. When somebody tells me I have a problem, I tell him go and ask for forgiveness. And people say it cannot be this simple, and yet it is.
True, it is true. And one of the major things that really hit me when I was reading about this subject from different sources of the scholars of Islam and non-Muslims too, there are different religions, they have that subject stressed out or highlighted to pass it into their congregations. This is one key solution for all your problems, that when you ask forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or your creator or your Lord, is the key reason that you are successful in your life. So it doesn't matter what kind of things you're doing in your life, ask for forgiveness. It will be answered by your creator or by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He will add to that extra things, because He is generous in answering your request of forgiveness.
It's very important, regardless of what the problem you might have. You might be in a tight financial situation, you're worried about your children, whatever it is. Once you start asking Allah for forgiveness. Where it really touched me is when somebody told me the saying of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he who keeps saying istighfar, asking for forgiveness, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give him an out from every problem. Any worries will go away, and He will provide for him. And ever since, I write it in front of my computer screen, I've written it, so I remember to constantly say istighfar.
MashaAllah. Believe me, this is one good step towards your oneness or closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he taught us every successful point in our deen or our life. If we approach it through istighfar, he had a traditional saying or common say or sunnah, we call it hadith. He said, من استغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات في اليوم 27 مرة حسبه الله من الآمنين ويستجاب له ويرزق به أهل الأرض.
Okay, we have to explain to our audience.
أي that's definitely, we have to explain it to them. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Muhammad, Prophet Muhammad, he taught us saying, any one of you asking for forgiveness for his believers, brothers believers, or any believers, and female or males, 27 times a day, Allah will give him the privilege being answering his supplications or his dua and his forgiveness, and also because of his dua, Allah will give more provisions to the earth as a whole. Every person on earth, every creature on earth will be added to his provisions.
And when we say, we have to continuously say istighfar, I tried to do some mathematics, and there is a prophetic saying that Rasulullah used to say istighfar 70 times a day.
Yes.
So I say, let's say he was awake 15, 16 hours a day. I divide 70 by 15, and you might find that within an hour you say 5, 6 times.
Right.
So obviously we're not going to say more, because Rasulullah would do the best thing. So every hour 5, 6 times. To remember, every 10 minutes, just say astaghfirullah al-azim. Every 10 minutes. It's not much, and yet anything the problems, and I challenge people, try it. Whatever your problem is, you have a problem, start saying istighfar, start asking Allah for forgiveness, keep doing it, and you will realize your problem will be gone within 24 to 48 hours, no questions asked.
I second that. MashaAllah, you just hit the nail on the head, because seriously, you divided it mathematically in a very practical manner, that anybody could do that. And there is so many ways you can have your own personal touch for the audience or for whoever listens to this broadcast. You can apply that in different ways that convenience to you as a person. That each one, for me, for instance, for me to prove that what you just said is correct, I do prayers 5 times a day, and through my prayers, I do each time 20 istighfar in between rak'at.
Yes.
So that by itself adds up to 100.
Yes.
In the meantime, I made a habit, and like anybody could do the same habit, if you can practice it, you do it better than me. You can, while you drive in the car, you just, instead of talking or listening to music or listening to anything else, you can say just 3, 4 times until your attention to the road.
And the important thing about istighfar, and why it's so important, because it acknowledges that we did a mistake, and then it acknowledges that Allah is forgiving. And that's the important thing about istighfar. You recognize. And this is where a hadith where Rasul says that if somebody does a mistake and just ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive him, Allah will forgive him. And then he goes and do another mistake, and he asks for forgiveness, and Allah will forgive him. And then he goes and do a mistake again. For us as humans, we say 3rd time out. But guess what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells the angels when this person did that 3rd mistake and asked for forgiveness? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, He knows that He has a forgiving God. Go and do whatever you like, I have forgiven you. SubhanAllah. So it shows, because we know that we have a God, we admit our mistakes, and we ask for forgiveness.
MashaAllah. And also, again, Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said something to that fact. One of the Arab came to Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, says, if I did a mistake, is it going to be written on my book in front of Allah? He said, yes, it will be written. And he says, if I made istighfar, he says, it will be wiped off. And he says, if I did a mistake again, he says, it will be written and then wiped out and written and wiped out. He says, when it's going to stop? So Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told him, Allah will not be bored and will not give up on giving you istighfar as long as you don't give up.
Yes.
Making istighfar.
Actually, one of the things I heard is, as we know, there is somebody who's writing our good deed, an angel writing our good deed, and an angel writing our bad deed. And when we do a bad deed, the angel that writes the bad deeds is ready to write, and the angel tells him, hold on a little bit, maybe he will do istighfar, and then we don't have to write it. So even they say, that's why even when we do a bad deed, quickly do istighfar, acknowledge that you did something wrong, and do istighfar that's not even written at all against you.
MashaAllah, that's correct. And because I heard one of the Sahabas mention that was told the approximate time that the angel that who writes the bad deeds will be held for 6 hours not to write that deed. So Allah has mercy on you that allow him to withhold writing for 6 hours to give you the opportunity to make istighfar and tawbah.